He's also come out and said he can out wrestle anyone in WWE, even on his worst day. That Will Ospreay, he cannot help himself, but you have got to love Will Ospreay. He is just so good. He wears his heart on his sleeve like his Stone Island badge, and Will just wants to be and is pretty much a poster boy for AEW. He won't allow any AEW slander, and he wants the world to know that AEW is where the best wrestle. Now, Will Ospreay, his war with WWE, it continues. We are still here, people. He comes out, he says, I ain't got no beef with Triple H, but his AEW flag is still flying. And he has come out and said that, WWE is what it is. It's the machine. It has been around for years, but he's just not interested in the product. And that's fine. He can say that. That's his opinion. That's absolutely fine. And I'm sure many others share that opinion as well. He's also come out and said he can out wrestle anyone in WWE, even on his worst day. And look, that's not a lie either. I think he can. He is one of the best wrestlers in the world. But at the same time, as Will can out wrestle most people, if not all people in WWE on his worst day, he can also do that in AEW. He can also put that roster to shame in that capacity. So this isn't a WWE issue. This is just Will Ospreay is, like he says, on another level. Now, a lot of people have kind of taken, his words to heart, and everyone's getting upset, and why is Will Ospreay saying this while he's performing in front of 10 people and this, that, and the other. Everyone's got their pickaxes out. Calm down, man. Everybody calm down. A man is entitled to his own opinion. However, it brings up this old question again of what is the most important thing in pro wrestling? And I'm going to try and get to the bottom of this today, and I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. You have to comment on this one because it's very important as a fan base that we understand all sides of this argument. Now, as we know, Will Ospreay is best known for his in-ring performances. The father of the 5-star match. I think now, if you looked at the average of his pay-per-view matches especially, they've got to be minimum maybe 4.75 as the low end. This guy, he shits out 5 stars, exceeding 5-star many a time these days as well. Will Ospreay is clearly someone that cares about the in-ring product, cares about a sports-based presentation, and wants to be the best wrestler in the entire world. And we cannot shame him for that. However, that is one way of doing it. And Will said in this interview he had that, there are many ways to do pro wrestling. It isn't that AEW is doing badly because they're not doing what WWE are doing. That is incorrect. There are many ways to do pro wrestling. And that is how Will likes to do pro wrestling. Concentrate on the in-ring side of things and prove that he's the best wrestler alive. And that is absolutely fine. But again, I ask the question, what is the most important thing about pro wrestling? A lot of wrestlers these days, I've heard them say that the answer is the feeling. It's how pro wrestling makes you feel. If you can't make someone feel something from your match, you have failed. If you can't make someone feel something that they need to bring out money from their pocket and pay to be in attendance, then you have failed. So it's the feeling and the emotional connection is the answer for some. And that's coming from, like I say, more time pro wrestlers themselves. If they need to make you feel it, so that, you get your bum in those seats and stuff. And of course, the older fans, and I say that respectfully, they know that, before all this TV and streaming stuff, the most important thing about pro wrestling was getting people into buildings. Bums on seats. We've all heard the phrase before. So for many, that is the most important thing. And I think it's fair to say for WWE, that is the most important thing. In terms of WWE can run a 20,000 seater stadium. They will then run a 15,000 seat stadium. And then they will run an 11,000 seat stadium. And the 11,000 will be beating the gate of the 20,000 because the prices are going up. Not only are they putting bums in seats, but they are making the price almost unaffordable to the everyman these days. And people are still going there and the gates are higher than ever. Reportedly. Now, I think it's one of them things, like I say, no one thing is the correct answer. Bums in seats for some might be the most important thing in pro wrestling. The performance may be the most important thing for some. The storytelling may be the most important thing for some. It's down to you. Like for me personally, it's dependent on where I am. I've been to a WrestleMania. Luckily enough, I've lived out that dream, you know. I've been to an All-In on British soil. Luckily for me, I've lived out that dream. And when I'm in those domains, for me, it's the storytelling. Like, for instance, Danielson and the Swerve Strickland put on a terrific match, which I don't think was given a 5 stars. However, for me, that was a 5-star match because of how they made me feel alongside, you know, the story, the action in the ring. That was a 5-star match for me. Yeah. At the same time, I've been to indies in this country, in America. I've been to Rev Pros and Progress Abroad and all of this kind of stuff. And when I'm there in those kind of domains, I just want to see an absolute banger. And I've got to see absolute bangers. Stuff that have been given plus 5 stars by Mr. Meltzer. And that's all I care about in those places. So for me, it's a mixture. It depends what I want from that moment and, you know, what I'm feeling at that time, if you like. But boy, I don't think there's any kind of blanket that we can just kind of throw over this as to what is the most important thing about pro wrestling. If you finish that question with what is the most important thing in the pro wrestling business, then of course you probably have to say it is filling arenas and putting bums in seats. But I just think it is so widespread these days. And this is why I want you guys' opinion on this. Put it down below in the comments. Please put it in the comments and let me know what you think is the most important thing today, because Will Ospreay is right in his assessment of WWE and his own assessment and how good he is, sort of thing. But like I say, some of the rebuttals I've seen online since are also correct. Like, you are the best wrestler in the world, but we are maybe still struggling in AEW, and I don't think that's a Will problem. That could be a wider AEW thing as to how we up arena attendance and things of that nature, you know. WWE, AEW, they are both operating in their own worlds in terms of what they're able to do with their fan base and their financial structures. I think they're both doing very, very good jobs, but it depends what you want from pro wrestling. So let me know down below in the comments, what is the most important thing in pro wrestling?